I shouldn't be teaching you this, but here we are. The world doesn't run on kindness. It runs on power, perception, and control. Most people never realize that until it's too late, until they're betrayed, overlooked, or used as pawns in someone else's game. Machiavelli knew this 500 years ago, and he tried to warn us. His book, The Prince, wasn't just about rulers or kings. It was about human nature itself, about how the world really works when the masks come off. Most people think of Machiavelli as the man who taught manipulation, the villain whispering in the ears of tyrants. But that's only half the truth. What he actually did was hold up a mirror to society and say, look, this is what people are really like when the survival's on the line. And the reason his words still sting today is because he was right. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. Goodness by itself is not power. In fact, goodness without strength is a liability. Machiavelli watched men lose everything, their kingdoms, their reputations, even their lives, because they believed that being moral was enough. He saw how easily the honest were devoured by the cunning. And so he wrote, "A man who wishes to act entirely up to his profession of virtue soon meets with what destroys him among so much that is evil." Think about that for a second. If you are good in a world that rewards ruthlessness, you will be used. Not because goodness is wrong, but because it's rare, and because those who lack it will exploit you. The world doesn't give power to the kind. It gives power to the calculated. And Machiavelli's warning was simple. If you want to survive among wolves, you cannot walk like a sheep. But before you misunderstand him, let's clear something up. Machiavelli didn't tell you to be evil. He told you to understand evil. There's a difference, a dangerous one. He believed that a wise person studies power the way a scientist studies poison, carefully, intelligently, and with full awareness of its consequences. You don't have to drink it, but you must understand what it can do. Because if you don't, someone else will use it against you. That's why The Prince wasn't a manual for tyrants. It was a survival guide for realists. A book written not for monsters, but for those who wanted to stay alive in a world full of them. Let's look at his most controversial idea. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. On the surface, it sounds cold, even cruel. But Machiavelli wasn't telling you to terrorize people. He was telling you that fear is a more reliable emotion than love when it comes to loyalty. Love fades with time, with jealousy, with misunderstanding. But fear endures. Fear ensures obedience when love fails. Now, in modern life, fear doesn't mean domination or threats. It means respect. The kind of respect that comes from strength, confidence, and unshakable boundaries. People may love you for your kindness, but they will respect you for your strength. And in the real world, it's respect that keeps you safe. So if you must choose to be respected first. Because those who fear losing your respect will guard your trust more fiercely than those who simply admire your charm. Machiavelli's second warning was about appearances. He said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few really know what you are." Perception is power. The world doesn't reward who you truly are. It rewards who people think you are. You can be brilliant, but if you appear weak, you'll be ignored. You can be wise, but if you look uncertain, no one will follow you. The great mistake people make is believing that authenticity means exposing every part of themselves. Machiavelli would call that foolishness. He believed that life is a performance, not because people are fake, but because survival often demands masks, and the wise man wears his mask consciously. He shows the world what he chooses to show, hides what he must, and reveals his truth only when it serves a purpose. That's not deception, that's strategy. Pause for a moment and ask yourself this. How many times have you been too honest with people who didn't deserve it? How many times have you revealed your plans to those who secretly envied you? How many times have you helped others climb only for them to kick you down once they reach the top? Machiavelli would call that naivety. He would tell you to stop expecting loyalty from those who only value convenience. Stop mistaking your compassion for strategy. Stop showing your entire hand to those who haven't earned your trust. Because when power enters the equation, morality becomes a mask everyone wears until it no longer serves them. Another of Machiavelli's lessons is about timing, the art of knowing when to strike. He said, "Fortune is like a woman. If you wish to master her, you must conquer her with boldness." Translated into today's world, fortune favors the brave, not the hesitant. The people who win are not always the smartest or even the most deserving. They are simply the ones who dared when others doubted. They understood that hesitation kills more dreams than failure ever will. Machiavelli believed that opportunity doesn't wait for permission. It rewards those who seize it, sometimes ruthlessly. He admired decisiveness, even when it was risky, because he saw that uncertainty breeds weakness. A leader who cannot act swiftly loses both respect and control, and that applies to you too. If you hesitate to act, to speak up, to take your shot, to make your move, someone else will take what could have been yours. The world doesn't reward potential, it rewards execution. Now here's the paradox in Machiavelli's warning. He understood that morality and manipulation often wear the same face. He wrote that a ruler must learn how not to be good and to use that knowledge when the situation demands it. In other words, to survive, you must know how to be ruthless, but not live that way. You must have the power to fight darkness without becoming it. Because power without restraint becomes tyranny, and kindness without power becomes victimhood. The goal is balance, the strength of the lion with the wisdom of the fox. That's what Machiavelli admired most, the ability to adapt, to read the game, and to play it better than anyone else. But perhaps his most chilling warning was this: men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, and covetous. It sounds harsh, but think of how often you've seen it proven true. Loyalty that fades when money enters the picture. Friendship that disappears when success arrives. People who praise you in public and envy you in private. Machiavelli wasn't cynical. He was observant. He knew that human beings are driven by self-interest far more than by ideals. And if you build your life expecting loyalty or fairness, you'll spend it in disappointment. But if you build it expecting human nature and planning around it, you'll never be caught off guard. So what does this mean for you right now in this century? It means you must stop being afraid of playing the game. Because whether you like it or not, the game is being played around you, in your job, your relationships, your politics, your ambitions. Those who understand power quietly shape the world while everyone else argues about morality. That doesn't mean you abandon your values. It means you protect them with strategy, not sentiment. You learn the rules so you can bend them, not break yourself against them. You understand that kindness means nothing without strength behind it. Here's what Machiavelli would tell you today. Be kind, but never naive. Be honest, but never transparent. Be brave, but never reckless. Be fair, but never foolishly trusting. Because the moment you believe that goodness alone will save you, someone who understands power will take everything you built. And yet, Machiavelli's true message wasn't to corrupt you. It was to wake you up. He saw the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. He believed that freedom and stability are earned through awareness. Awareness of what people are capable of, both good and bad. And only those who see clearly can act wisely. So maybe I shouldn't be teaching you this. Maybe this knowledge should remain locked in the minds of kings and conquerors. But look around. The world is full of people pretending to be powerless when all they lack is understanding. You don't need to be ruthless to win. You just need to stop being blind. Because Machiavelli's real warning wasn't to fear evil. It was to fear ignorance. The ignorance of those who think morality alone will protect them. The ignorance of those who never learn the rules of power and then wonder why they keep losing. So remember this, in every era the naive are conquered and the aware are crowned, not because they are cruel, but because they see. And once you see, you can never be controlled again. That is Machiavelli's gift. That is his warning. And that is the truth you were never meant to hear. But now that you have, you can never unlearn it.